Hello YouTube, Ken Hao here with another Black Desert Online video. And this week on Wednesday, the Guardian is getting her awakening weapon here in Korea. And since this Wednesday, I will probably be mostly saying goodbye to the shield and one-handed axe in exchange for the bigger and hopefully better huge axe, or whatever her weapon ends up being. I figured it would be a good time to show you the Guardian's clearing speed or grinding speed in a couple of different spots that I used. So I recorded footage of 5 hours of grinding. Originally I wanted to do 6, but it took me so long to gather some of this footage that I had to cut it a little short. But I hope that'll be enough to show you what I wanted to show you, which is how fast or slow, I suppose, depending on your opinion, this character can grind. So originally the 3 areas that I had chosen were Poly Forest, Mansion Forest, and the Blood Wolf camp, lair, village, whatever you want to call it. However, after several hours of channel swapping, I could not find empty channel where I could just grind the main rotation, the good rotation in Blood Wolves. So I kind of gave up on that. So I decided to try the Sheraton Necropolis, also in Drigan. No, not ideal perhaps. That area is very annoying to grind with all the stuns and stuff like that, but it's also good to show you her super armor and the ability to stay out of CCs. However, I actually had also some trouble recording footage in there. It took me a couple of quite a few channel swaps until I was able to finally find a channel that was empty that I could grind there. Alright, so before we start going over the data and stuff like that, I want to point out a few things here for you. First of all, this is not a guide of any sort. This is not a how to grind any of these locations, and this is not a guide on how to play the character, not yet. Anyways, that guide will be coming out in a little while, in a couple of weeks. After I've gone all through all the awakening stuff, I will go back and release a Guardian guide, pre-awakening guide, before the class actually comes out outside of Korea, in global release. Alright, so stay tuned for that. I just wanted to see how many mobs I can go and kill in that hour period with the Guardian, pre-awakening Guardian. And then once the Guardian Awakening is released, I will go back to at least 2 of these areas. I don't think I'm going to go back to Poly Forest because I was already one-shotting pretty much everything there, and I was just being held back by how fast my pets could loot. I definitely want to go back to Mansion Forest and the Sheraton Necropolis, because I'll be able to definitely clear a little quicker there, assuming that the Awakening skills do more damage, which they usually do, right? The other thing I wanted to keep in mind is that I am not a professional BDO player. I just came back to the game and I'm still getting used to it, and I didn't really know the rotation in Sheraton Necropolis, and I had a little bit of a hard time at the beginning using my super armors and staying out of CC. So keep all that in mind, and when we go over the data, we can talk about how maybe you might be able to loot faster or clear a little faster, or perhaps a lot faster once you get your hands on her. But we'll talk about the data once we go through each area here. The other things to keep in mind too is that I do not have all tier 4, tier 5 pets. My pets are these you can see on the screen right now. I'm using 3 tier 1 pets, 1 tier 3, and 1 tier 4 pets. And the tier 3 and tier 4 are only at tier 3 and 4 because I got them for free from the game. I haven't really spent any time upgrading my pets in any way, shape, or form, so that slows down my grinding speed, because yes, I do like to collect as much loot as possible. So sometimes if I think it's necessary, I will slow down a little bit so my pets can keep up, and I might actually loot some stuff myself. So now you may disagree with my approach, but this is how I do it, and which is why I'm showing all the footage so that you can see how I do it, and you can gauge from that how much more you might be able to gather, or how much more loot you might be able to gather on your own with your play style and things like that. But part of the reason why it was important to grab the loot too is because the way I counted the mobs I killed was by the trash loot that you got. So no, I wanted to make sure that I got a good the right number for the mobs that I killed. So of course that slowed down my speed a little bit, but that was only really a problem when it came to Poly Forest, because in Poly Forest is the only of the 3 areas that I was actually one-shotting all the mobs. Mansion, of course, I could not one-shot mobs at my gear level. Also, Sheraton Necropolis, I cannot one-shot mobs at my gear level. Hopefully, once Awakening kicks in and I'm able to enhance my Awakening weapon to Tet, which, by the way, I'll be trying this week on the stream, on the same day as the Awakening comes out. Hopefully, I can snipe a Dandelion off the market. It doesn't seem like the Guardian class is very popular in Korea, so with some luck, I'll be able to snipe a Dandelion. So speaking of gear, this is my gear here on screen. You can see I'm going to be posting it somewhere around here once I do the final editing here. I'm running Tet Kutum and Tet Zarka. So, and those accessories that you can see there, and that gear is putting me at 222 AP, so keep that in mind also. All right, so the footage you're seeing here is from Poly Forest. And after this, we're going to see Muncham, and then we're going to see Shuriken Necropolis at the end. And the way I did this is I put the first minute of each grinding spot at normal speed, and then after that I put a sped up version of the grinding, just so you can see again how I do it, my methodology. And you can also see that a couple times I got interrupted there by other players while I was grinding, and I had to skip some groups and jump ahead, so that also slowed me down. So just putting all the information out there so you can have a good idea of how I did it, so that again you can adjust to your play style and your gear and stuff like that, and you can compare to the class that you play now to see how much loot you get with your class, and you can match that, compare that to what I got with my Guardian. All right, so let's talk about the numbers, the data. And let me look at my chart here because I have not memorized all these numbers. So on my first run on Polyforest, I got 7,116 of the mushroom little drop loot, trash loot, and on my second run I got 7,450 of the trash loot. My first run I was interrupted quite a few times, and the footage that you're going to be seeing is from actually the second run, where I got the 7,450 trash loot drops from that. I think that was pretty good. I also want to say that if you ever get these scrolls that we got here in Korea, that is the 530 skill points percent experience, definitely go to Polyforest. Over the 2 hours I got over 100 SP from that grind. That was amazing. So that's it from Polyforest. Like I said, I had to slow down the killing a little bit so my pets could keep up, and I also got interrupted so a couple times by other players. So if you might be able to do maybe 7,700, or maybe we can do more. I don't know, depending on how your pets are and things like that. So that was Polyforest. Now let's move on to Muncham. And Muncham's actually had quite a few interruptions. Apparently it's not a good idea to try to get footage from Muncham Forest on Saturday, because a lot of people were there. I had to channel hop quite a bit, and I still got interrupted a few times. The first run was my best one. I got 2,226 trash loot drops, again at 222 pre-awakening AP, right? And the second run, even though I didn't get interrupted as much, my weapon actually broke because I didn't go back to repair, because Polyforest I was able to do the both runs without repairing. So I thought that I'll be able to do the same thing at Muncham Forest. However, that was not the case. I had to. Luckily, I had my tri-axe on my warehouse, my storage in Grana, so I was able to pull that out with my maid and use that. So definitely, you can definitely do better than 1,378, which is what I got on the second run. You can also probably do better than my first run of 2,226 trash loot with your awakened class. With your pre-awakening class, you may or may not be able to. That's the whole point of this video. Let me know what kind of trash loot you get at these grinding locations with your pre-awakening class. So that's it for Muncham Forest. Let's move on out to Shuriken Necropolis. Unfortunately, I was only able to do one run there because the time was running low, and I wanted to get this video out before the awakening weapon came out here. I wanted to get it out on Tuesday morning, the latest. So I was only able to do one run. So let me open here my little screenshot, which will be on the screen also. And for Shuriken Necropolis, I was interrupted a couple of times. Nothing too big though. I was able to adjust my rotation, because actually I realized after I got interrupted, I realized that my rotation that I was using was way too large, and I could definitely it was way too large for one person, and I was definitely a little greedy. And we could make 2 rotations between the 2 of us in there. So it was a little interrupted, but it wasn't too bad. I also got a little interrupted with the nighttime, so I know it took me a little bit to go back to the road and reset. So I lost a few seconds of grinding there. The other problem that I had also in Shuriken Necropolis, like I said before, was the CC. Quite a few times, especially in the beginning, I forgot how much they like to stun and knock you down. So I got paralyzed quite a few times. So here I think that you might be able to get at least 400 more trash loots at least, if you hadn't been a complete idiot like I was and kept spending a lot of time on the ground. So yeah, I got 4,065 of the trash loot here with my 1 hour in Shuriken Necropolis. I think that if I know the rotation better, I could have done probably more. It had been a very long time since the last time I came here to Shuriken Necropolis. So I wasn't really too sharp on the rotation. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Blood Wolves too, is because A, is popular, and the other reason is because I actually know the rotation there, and I could have done a lot better. I could probably have done that on my sleep, where Shuriken had been a very long time since I come here. So I was a little rusty, so I could probably have done at least combining those two, the CC and the lack of knowledge of the rotation, I could have probably done 5,000 trash loot with that. But yeah, the other thing that I want to point out also, before I let you watch the rest of the footage, is the fact that I was buffed with food and a potion, so and an alchemy stone as well. So now I had 222 sheet AP, but I also had another 30 to 40 AP combined between all the foods that I used. So also keep that in mind on your calculations. Again, I'm not the best grinder in the world. I have my methods, and I stop sometimes to collect loot. And I just wanted to share the information with you so you can decide whether or not you will be hyped for the Guardian when it comes out in a couple of weeks in the global servers. All right, so if you have any more questions about the class, don't hesitate to post it in the comments down below. Also, you can stop by the stream and ask your questions there. I would love to hang out with you and show you the class, so they can help you make up your mind whether or not it's worth to save your resources to gear her up when she comes out over there. All right, that's I think that's pretty much all that I wanted to cover. I'll leave you with the footage. If I remember anything else that I forgot, I will pin a comment down below so that we can all be on the same page. All right, for now I will be heading out, and stay tuned for a bunch of awakening videos, Guardian awakening videos that will be coming out this week and next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the links down below for the Discord and the Twitch and all those social media things. Go check me out over there. With all that said, I will see you in the next one. Take care.